Well, it's August the 8th, and we are winding down our regular gardening season. And what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking my most of the dead stuff, as you can see here. We're going to take some of that out, and we're going to start planting our fall and winter garden. So I'll show you a little bit how we're going to do that. So first, as you can see, we do have some of our plants that are still thriving pretty well. The kale is still doing amazingly well. I still have a couple of Brussels sprout plants that are doing well. My cucumbers did not do well. My green beans did not do well. They actually did very well, but I got 0 green beans. My tomato plant is on its way out. Part of it is the heat, and part of it is also the watering. But the tomatillos, we got a lot of tomatillos this year, so this is the remnants of that. And my zucchini plant is on its way out also. The heat just kind of kills a lot of this stuff out, and it's been so hot for so long. And then my spaghetti squash didn't do very well either this year, so we're going to plant the fall garden and see how that goes. I'll show you once we clear out all of this mess. Okay, now that I've pruned a lot of the tomato plant, don't worry, it looks a little bare, but it should still bear some fruit, I'm hoping. And we are cleaned up this whole area here. Now basically what you're going to do on this is I'm just digging it up, and we're going to start our new fall garden in this area here. That's my watering system. And so don't worry about taking too much out. You know, you can have all the leaves, the dried leaves, the dead stuff in there. You can kind of churn that in there, and that just makes good mulch for putting the nutrients back into the soil. So now I've finished pulling out all of the dead vegetables and cleaned up everything a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and amend the soil with some mulch and some compost. Okay, now that I put the amended soil into the garden, I put down my watering system again, and now we're ready to go ahead and plant some more plants for the fall. Okay, so even though I've amended the soil, I'm going to give everything just a little bit more push to grow a little bit easier. And I have some garden soil from the Home Depot, and all I'm just doing is I'm putting a little hole, and then I'm putting just a tiny bit of the Miracle-Gro into each of these little holes where I'm going to be planting the seeds. So I'll show you that when we're finished. All right, so what I want to do now is we're going to show you the final product. I amended the soil. We made some holes, and I'm going to show you all that for where we're going to put our fall garden. So let's go ahead and show you that. Do want to show you a little bit though, real quick, the other part of the garden and how things are kind of finishing up with that. It's still, it's August the, sorry, I'm looking at my watch. The 15th, sorry for the hand, the 15th of August, and it's still like 104, 105 degrees out here. So I think we have plenty of time. The soil's nice and warm, so these things, these seeds should germinate. So we're gonna do a little experiment, and I've never really done this kind of a fall crop before. Usually it's just spinach or kale and that kind of thing, but I'm gonna actually plant some different stuff, and you'll see. So here we have our guard dog, Stella. She's watching the, she's watching the garden for us. And so I still have a lot of buds and flowers, and again, this is August, but this is my poblanos. So I don't even have any poblanos yet, but I have a lot of flowers that are budding. This is the asparagus. So when you have the asparagus, you're gonna let that grow. These are the seeds for the asparagus. I've never done that before, but you let that a couple of years, and then you'll start getting real good asparagus. Kale is still going very well. As you can tell, I have still a bunch of flowers. If you can tell here, a bunch of flowers on the bell peppers. So again, those are still growing quite a bit. This is what you call blossom end rot. You see that there? So that just means a lack of calcium. And my long green chilies doing pretty well. And so this part of the garden is going very well. Tomatoes on its way out pretty much. And I still have some pretty nice basil right here. And so here's the experiment. So again, you can see, so this is again the blossom end rot on the, so we just need to add a little bit of calcium on some of these plants here. So we'll be doing that today. But wanted to show you the end product here real quick of our fall garden with some experimentation. So fall garden generally is really good for these types of crops, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, spinach, kale. But what I'm doing this year is we're going to experiment. So we're going to do the traditional. So you can see now what I did, I went a little overboard, is I amended the soil, the whole thing. Then what I did is I made a little hole where I'm going to put the seeds, and I put a little bit of that garden soil that I got at Home Depot, and I put that in there. So that'll just kind of help with the germination period. Now here's my experiment. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to put some zucchini in August and see what happens. So we're going to try that. And then on all of these little spots here, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to put broccoli. So and I'm also going to put some cauliflower in there. We're going to do some cabbage. And again, this is the other experimentation. I'm going to do some cucumbers, and I'm also going to do some cantaloupe. So we're gonna see what happens with that this year, again, since it's so doggone hot. Spinach, I'm gonna put in on these holes here, and also I'm gonna put some carrots in the small areas that we have available in between. So the main thing is again, the experimentation is the cucumbers, melons, and the zucchinis. And then we're going to, I'm actually gonna plant some pole beans here too. Again, they say that it's a 60-day maturity level. So I think by October it might cool down to maybe about 75, who knows. So anyway, so that's kind of our garden for the fall. And I'm gonna also plant a few of these in about another week, because what I want to do is just, that way I have about 5 or 6 plants of broccoli that I'm going to be planting. I don't want to, go ahead and have 6 heads of broccoli and then nothing. So I'm gonna give it about a week, and I'm gonna plant another 2 or 3. So okay, and this is the final product. So I planted all the plants and watered everything, and I'm gonna hand water that for another 1 or 2 days, and mainly because it's so doggone hot, want to make sure that those seeds germinate. Once they germinate, then we'll put them on a regular water schedule. So I do want to show you the outline that I did here. Now you're probably asking yourself, why are all these white little K-cups in my garden? Well, first of all, this is another way of repurposing and putting back into the earth instead of throwing things away. Now, the plastic is not going to break down, but what I'm doing is first of all, because I want to make sure I remember where I planted everything, I put these little cups in there, so that way I can remember that I planted something there, so I'm going to water. You see I put sticks here. These are where I'm going to plant stuff in another week, so I know that those are empty. And what we're going to do is when we're finished with these, when I start getting a little bit of germination, okay, so I'm going to just take these cups, and and this is something that you can do too with your garden, is just take this, open it up, and you just kind of put the coffee grounds in the ground, and then basically that's going to be a little bit more extra fertilizer for your garden. So that's how you're going to add more nutrients to the garden. So happy gardening, everybody, and have a great day. God bless you.